Have you ever had a week where you're crushing your workouts, eating clean, feeling amazing, and then the next week you can't figure out why you're tired, moody, and craving carbs? In today's episode, we're breaking down what your cycle is really telling you and how to finally work with your body instead of against it. Still trusting a system that profits from your sickness? Faith Over Pharma is here to flip the script and help you heal the way God designed. You've gone to your doctor, maybe even had labs done, and you've been told everything looks normal. Yet deep down, you know something isn't right. You're exhausted, your moods are all over the place, your cycle feels unpredictable. You just want answers. That's exactly what I do in my healing roadmap session. If you're ready to finally understand what's going on with your body and feel like yourself again, you can book your session today at susangladstein.com. You know, I think for most of us, our relationship with our cycles started off on the wrong foot. I can remember sitting in my middle school classroom watching a grainy VHS tape about, that time of the month. It told us what a period was, what products to use, and how to deal with it. But no one actually told us why it all happens, or that our cycles are this incredible built-in window into our overall health. And for so many women that I work with now, it's kind of the same story. They were put on birth control to regulate things, told that cramps and mood swings are just part of being a woman, and even learned to just dread the week that your period came around. But here's something that I really wish that they had taught us even back then. Your menstrual cycle is one of the most accurate reflections of what's going on inside your body. Your body was designed with rhythm and wisdom, and every phase tells a story. Just like your pulse or blood pressure, your cycle actually gives clues about how well your body is functioning. When something is off, your cycle is often the first place it shows up. And when healing begins, it's one of the first places that you'll see change. I think most women have been told that a normal cycle is 28 days and that ovulation happens on day 14. Here's the actual truth. There is exactly 0 women who have 28-day cycles their entire reproductive lives. Fluctuation is completely normal. It's just part of being female. Back in 1967, a researcher named Alan Treloar published a landmark study in the International Journal of Fertility after following more than 2,700 women for 30 years. 30 years. He found that our cycles naturally change as we move through life. They're long and irregular in our teens, steady through our middle years, and then start to shorten and vary again as we approach perimenopause. So normal isn't one number, it's actually a range. I've seen women with unhealthy 28-day cycles, heavy, painful, missing ovulation, and I've seen women with beautiful, balanced 33-day cycles. And it's not really just about perfection, obviously. It's about patterns. So a normal cycle can range anywhere from 24 to 35 days, averaging around 29. A few days of variation from month to month is totally fine. It's not, your body's not failing. It's actually responding. And where we really start paying attention is when our cycles regularly fall outside of that range, or they jump to more than 8 days apart from month to month. So if you have a one-off weird cycle after stress, illness, or travel, that's just your body adapting. But if your cycles bounce from 24 to 42 to 60 days, or you're having fewer than 9 periods in a year, that's a sign that your body needs a little extra support. So let's talk about stress, because this is one of the biggest reasons that I see shifts in women's cycles. So your brain and your ovaries are in this constant conversation through hormones like LH and FSH. And when cortisol, or your stress hormone, spikes, that conversation goes quiet. Your ovaries are actually very protective, so they'll delay releasing an egg if your body doesn't feel safe enough to sustain a pregnancy. And I see this all the time with women who are trying to conceive. They're doing everything right. They're tracking their temperature, they're eating clean, they're taking the supplements, and then suddenly their cycle lengthens. And then they start panicking, thinking something's wrong. But it's actually their body saying, hey, not this month. Let's wait until things calm down. It's not a failure. It's actually a protection. And I think it's a very important distinction to understand that our bodies are constantly wanting to maintain equilibrium and maintain just balance. So your menstrual cycle is basically your built-in stress detector. And sometimes your period is the first red flag that something deeper is going on, especially with your thyroid, your metabolism, or even nutrition. And thyroid disorders are a huge one. When your thyroid slows down, your cycles actually get longer and heavier. And when it speeds up, they get shorter and lighter. So if you suspect that you're having thyroid issues, I recommend asking your provider for a full panel, including free T3, free T4, and antibodies, not just TSH. And then obviously there's a lot of people talking about PCOS. It's less about cysts and more about a miscommunication between your brain and the ovaries. Ovulation becomes inconsistent and your cycles can stretch past 40 days. You might see acne, hair growth, or even blood sugar swings. And I actually see a lot of times where people, their period just goes non-existent. I see this a lot in high achieving women. It's basically when your body shuts down your cycle altogether because it doesn't feel safe. Maybe you're under eating or over exercising or just running on chronic stress. Your brain sort of gets this message that you don't have enough energy for reproduction right now, so it shuts that down. And healing from HA isn't just about doing more. It's really about nourishing, resting, and rebuilding that trust with your body that everything's safe and okay again. And I want to dive into the 4 phases of your cycle, but something that I just have to address, the fact that men's hormones reset every 24 hours, which is completely different than obviously ours. That is more on a, 25 to 35 day cycle on average. So for men, their testosterone peaks in the morning, it tapers off by night, and then it starts all over again the next day. And that's why they can just wake up ready to crush a workout, eat the same thing every day. They can think about losing weight and it happens and just stay consistent. But for women, on the other hand, obviously we run on roughly a 28-day rhythm. Our hormones ebb and flow across 4 distinct phases. I like to think of them as winter, spring, summer, and fall. Our energy and metabolism and even our social needs shift with each of those phases. So if you're trying to live like a man does, doing the same workouts all the time, having the same calorie intake, the same productivity level every single day, you probably feel like you're swimming upstream. You're never meant to show up the same way every single day. So When you start working with your cycle instead of against it, everything changes, from your energy to your weight loss, your fertility, and even your sense of peace. So let's talk about those phases. The first phase is your menstrual phase. I call it the winter phase. This is when obviously your period starts, your hormones drop, your energy dips, and your body sheds its uterine lining. You probably during this time feel tired, maybe emotional, or even less motivated. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. It's actually your hormones doing exactly what they were designed to do. I mean, if you think about the winter, it's kind of when you want to go into hibernation phase, right? I know that there's been many times where I've started like a new challenge or a workout plan when I was not in this phase, but then I suddenly hit this wall and I felt like I've lost all more motivation. And it was really about the hormone shift that's happening. So, some healthy signs, again, 26 to 35 day cycle. You're going to have 3 to 7 days of bright red flow. Minimal cramps is a sign of a healthy period. But some red flags if your periods are shorter than 3 days or longer than 7 days. You might have some issues that need to be addressed there. If you're having a lot of brown flow, dizziness, or even large clots, that could also be a sign of some issues. So I really like to think of it in the terms of what you would do in the winter time. You think about, winter is usually when animals are hibernating. So this is your rest time. You might want to do gentle walks or stretching for a workout. For eating, you want to focus on warm stews, bone broth, red meat, root veggies, lentils. Obviously, if you've got a lot of bleeding going on, you want to make sure that your iron levels are good to go. You might need to supplement with iron, magnesium, vitamin C. And also during this time, really focusing on your mindset, treating it as sort of your monthly Sabbath, a time to slow down and reflect. Spiritually, it's a pruning season, so it's God clearing space for new growth. I think when you start embracing this winter season for what it is, you will feel so much more in tune with your body and focused. And then we move into the follicular phase, which is spring. This is when your estrogen starts to rise, your follicles mature, and your testosterone gives you like this boost of energy. You feel lighter, more social, more motivated. Again, this is probably when you started your 75 Hard program. You were all excited about it. Some signs that things might be off if you're experiencing fatigue, anxiety, if you have no cervical mucus, or if you're spotting before you ovulate. These are all some signs that things are needing to be addressed with your period. During the spring, you want to make sure you're eating those fresh greens, berries, salmon, flax, and pumpkin seeds. For movement, focusing on cardio or doing something new, the renewal of spring. You'll also want to detox with veggies and good hydration, and make sure that your mindset is focused on planning, creating, saying yes to new ideas. Think of spring, renewal, growth. Spiritually, this is your planting season. This is where you can really cast your vision and grow. So lean into that. And your next phase is the ovulation phase. I call it the hot girl summer. This is your high energy magnetic phase. Your estrogen, LH, and FSH are peaking, and your testosterone really fuels your confidence. So you're glowing. You feel social, creative, connected. I mean, even if you're not trying to conceive, ovulation totally matters. This is how your body makes progesterone, which is the hormone that keeps you calm and balanced later in your cycle. So some healthy signs is you're going to have some clear, stretchy mucus, a slight temperature rise. You want to have steady energy. Some red flags if you're not ovulating, if you're having mid-cycle spotting or mood changes, obviously you want to address those. And to support your hot girl summer, make sure you're eating lighter, really cooling foods like salads, citrus, smoothies, fish. Movements, you might find that you enjoy HIIT or heavier strength workouts. Group workouts are great for that social aspect. Make sure you're hydrating, adding in electrolytes, and then focusing on the mindset piece of connecting, collaborating, communicating. Spiritually, this is your season of abundance. So make sure that you're in overflow and fruitfulness during this phase. And then after ovulation, we move into the luteal phase, which is your fall phase. This is kind of a time of reflection. This is where progesterone rises to prepare for possible implantation. This is the slow down phase. If you've been running on caffeine or stress, you'll probably feel it here. This is where PMS shows up if progesterone is low or your cortisol is high. Some healthy signs if you're having a calm mood, stable appetite, good sleep. If you're experiencing PMS, bloating, anxiety, or even spotting before your period, those are some red flags that you need to address. And obviously, to support the autumn, think about what you would want to do in the fall, what you would want to eat. A lot of sweet potatoes, squash, oats, dark chocolate, pumpkin seeds. Your movement should be gentle. So some gentle strength, yoga, walking is amazing. And in your mindset, make sure that you're finishing those projects and then preparing to rest. So if you're getting into that cycle, that you're just moving with I actually did this a few years ago where I planned out my work schedule more in tune with my cycle, and I didn't burn out nearly as quickly. So ask God during this time what He's inviting you to release before your winter season begins. Tracking your cycle is one of the most empowering things that you can do. You want to make sure you write down your period dates, your mood, your energy, your sleep, your cervical mucus. And over time, you can start to see patterns. You might notice that if you have stress before ovulation and inflammation that might cause heavier periods, or poor sleep shortens your luteal phase. And if you're in perimenopause, this helps you see whether you're still ovulating and how to support your changing hormones. Honestly, your body is brilliant, and we just have to learn to listen to it. I don't know why we think we can just outwill our body at times, but God created women to be on this cycle for a purpose. Our hormones are shifting. It's not a flaw, that's actually a feature. And with each phase, it mirrors His creation of renewal and growth, fruitfulness and rest. And as Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, to everything there is a season. And your cycle is just one of those seasons. And when you honor that rhythm, you align with His design. And I truly believe that is where healing begins. So your challenge this month is to start listening, start tracking, notice your patterns. Instead of asking yourself, like, what's wrong with me? Start asking, what is my body trying to tell me? Because your body isn't broken, it's communicating. And when you learn to listen, you begin to heal. And if you'd like some help in decoding your own cycle and creating a plan that fits for your season of life, I'd love to walk with you. You can book a roadmap session at susangladstein.com. And remember, your body was made to heal, to balance, and to thrive. And I'd be honored to help you get there. Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode of Faith Over Pharma. If something stirred in you today, share this with a friend who's ready to stop outsourcing their health and start healing the way God designed. And if you're ready to stop chasing symptoms and start healing at the root, head over to faithoverpharma.org to grab tools, join the movement, or book a free call. Until next time, keep questioning the narrative, protecting your peace, and walking in the truth that your body was made to heal.